Hello, Bill. Welcome to the program.
Glenn Beck Christmas special, everyone, starring Andy Williams, Marie Osmond.
Yeah, it's great. And Dean Martin is going to be by in just a little while.
Excellent.
Yeah. So Bill, Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you.
I want to talk to you about a couple of things. I don't want you to leave before we talk about the story that broke in the Hill, because we haven't had a chance to talk about that. But first, trying to keep our theme going here of Christmas and the end of the year. Tell me what you think the three most important stories of the year were.
Okay, I think the most important story is the attack on Donald Trump by the media.
That's the number one most important story.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's changed the way news reportage.
Ooh, word of the minute.
Word of the day, yeah.
Oh, of the day.
Is expedited in this country. So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two would be the rise of the American economy. And number three would be the defeat of ISIS in Syria and Iraq.
Wow.
Those would be the top three stories, Beck.
You know what's amazing about those three things is none of them are correct. None of them. None of them are right.
No, by what yardstick are you making that determination?
By, everything that is good and decent and holy and everything that is based in common sense.
All right, so your top three stories are?
My top three stories. Now, I did this yesterday, and I'm trying to remember what the first one was.
Stories are not
correct? You don't even remember what the first one was.
Well, it's because they were so important. Okay, so here it is. I got them in my memory now. Okay, you ready? Number one, Gorsuch. That's going to make a lasting impression and leave a lasting mark one way or another, I'm hoping in a good way, on America.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with it. I don't think it's as important as my three, but it's certainly in the ballpark. What's number two?
That's what Bill O'Reilly would say. Number two is the charge of fake news and the American people's inability to recognize truth, being able to see it, and also the press not being able to see it. The right says this is fake news. The left says this is fake news. There is truth out there. And without someone being trustworthy enough to say, no, guys, this is the truth, I don't know how we survive.
Well, your number two pick coincides with my number one pick.
Yeah, but mine was...
It all falls
mine was really kind of stated, a little better.
Yeah, but people expect that of you.
Yeah, and the third pick was because I think it has eternal and lasting ramifications if it's more than just talk, and that is the calling Jerusalem the capital of Israel.
All right. Well, that's a spiritual thing you're getting into now. I would not put that in the top stories because of the direct effect it has on people's lives. Now, if you're an Israeli, of course. But as an American, we're looking at this on the outside. So I was going. My three stories were basically how they affect the folks.
So isn't it
my thing is looking out for the folks, Beck? As you know.
So is it amazing that neither one of us put and I think this is more of a question of how much has happened that is huge this year. The Harvey Weinstein effect. And what has happened in the last year and where we're headed in the next year. I mean, this is a remarkably huge story.
It is a big story, but it isn't touching the lives of the folks. It's more of a sensationalistic piece of culture that most people are kind of just looking at going, wow. But does it affect the way they live their lives, the way they go to work, the way they raise their children? No. It's salacious. It's sensationalistic. It is hysterical at this point in some precincts. But I just don't think it has a lasting effect on regular working people. Certainly going to have an effect on politicians because now you're going to get muckraking all day long.
Oh, it's going to
have effect on the media people, anybody who's ever done anything wrong in the last 50 years. Sooner or later, it's going to come down and get you right between the eyes. There isn't a man in the country, a famous man in the country, that's safe. All accusations are destructive. It's trial by headline. And that is a very, very troubling thing, but important in the long run to people's lives. I don't think it makes the top three.
Okay. Speaking of culture and how it has gone off the rails, love your thought. This is CNN talking about a new Christmas book. Listen, and I'd like to hear your comment. Here it comes. Anytime. Oh, you don't. She doesn't have it. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Santa is very busy. Do you have any comment?
If you tell me what it is, I can comment on it.
No. I want you to hear it.
You want me to hear it?
I want you to hear it from CNN. Okay, so then let me.
There's a new children's book out this Christmas. Takes us inside Santa's wedding. We meet Santa's husband, David.
What inspired Santa's husband?
It was sort of inspired by the annual tradition we have in this country of pretending that there's a giant war on Christmas and that traditional Christmas is under attack. So, among other things, we were reading all of the news about the Mall of America hiring a black Santa Claus last year. And me and my now wife made a joke on Twitter that if we ever had a child, they would only know about black Santa Claus. And if they saw a white Santa Claus at the mall, we would just explain, well, that's his husband.
It says, like any married couple, they have their disagreements, but they always manage to kiss and make up, usually over a plate of milk and cookies.
Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted you to hear.
That's Don Lemon, right?
Yeah, that's Don Lemon doing that story, yes.
Yeah. All right, well, look, here are my initial thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
It is beyond shameful that CNN and others feel that they have license to denigrate all of our traditions. And that's what they're doing there. There's no doubt about it. They're mocking the tradition of Santa Claus, which is St. Nicholas, generosity, pleasing children, magical time, mocking it, injecting in social justice to the Christmas season. Shameful, but predictable from these people who have disdain not only for America, but for traditional Americans who love Christmas.
So
they despise us.
Okay, I said earlier this week, kind of a controversial statement. I said there was no war on Christmas. The war on Christmas has been lost. And
we actually won the war on Christmas. When you were working at Fox, I was there, and that's when I launched, because you reminded me so much of Santa. Yeah. Kind of a little pudgy, and didn't have a beard, but
don't know if
very generous, very jocular.
Generous. I like that part of. Yes.
I could see you in your jammies up in the North Pole making stuff.
Yes.
All right.
Drinking hot chocolate.
Right. So when I saw you, I said, you know what? I'm getting tired of people like department stores threatening their employees with firing if they say Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And we had a list of them. And we put the list on the screen, and then Americans said, we're not really going to shop in these places anymore, which the policy of firing people for saying Merry Christmas stopped abruptly.
Yes.
All right. So we won.
Well, I think here's what I meant by that. That I think we did win on people that aren't afraid to say Merry Christmas, which is very nice. However, when you look, and I gave the songs that are just on the playlists for Christmas from iTunes, there's not a religious reference in the 50 of them that I saw. We are a secular, increasingly secular society.
That's why I send my kids to private school, because I don't want my children to be on the defensive when it comes to their religious beliefs. Yeah. And that's what we've done in this country Thank you, Barack Obama. Thank you, Bill Clinton. Thank you, far left nuts. You basically, if you're a man or a woman of faith, now you have to be cautious about it. You can't offend anyone by saying anything about it. That's fascism. That's Cuban stuff. And I don't want my children to be a part of it. So therefore, I choose to send them to private school where they don't have that oppression. But you're absolutely right. This is a secular society, and in that regard, the far left kooks have won.
So let me ask you this, because you said that I reminded you of Santa, and that was very kind of you. I was wondering what for traditions for you. What were the traditions when you were growing up for Christmas around the Civil War?
You know, the muskets were outside, lined up, and the horses were whinnying.
No, seriously, what is something that
you don't want to know about the Civil War?
Yeah, I know. What is the Christmas tradition that you either carry on or you miss that used to happen?
Here it is, Beck. Get your pen, take some notes. Stu can take the notes.
Got it.
My first memory on being on the planet is sitting on the stairs of my Levittown house, all right? 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, little box house. At about 5 in the morning, I got up before everybody else. I must have been 3, maybe 2.5. And the tree was lit, and all the presents were under the tree. And I would just sat there for about an hour just staring at it. Okay? That's my first memory on the planet. So that I try to duplicate that. We have a tree in the living room. We put gifts under the tree.
That's odd.
We go to church, and I usually go in and tell the priest, look, not too long, okay? Keep it about 10 minutes with the sermon.
Right.
We got people fainting, we got kids screaming, that kind of thing.
So do you get your kids up and force them to sit on the stairs at 5 o'clock in the morning, or?
No,
okay.
I don't force.
All
I suggest.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay,
so if you want those kids, you'll sit on the stairs.
So, Bill, let me go back here to something that we didn't talk about last week, which is the story that came out on the Hill and in the Hill, which is, it adds a lot of credibility to it. Lisa Bloom, the attorney that orchestrated your departure at Fox, was shown to have been offering women money to tell a story about Donald Trump. She was accused, and she admitted to offering up to $750,000 just to help these poor women out because they were afraid they'd lose everything if they came out against Donald Trump.
Look, I told you last Friday that big story was going to break, and it broke about an hour after your program ended. What the real disgrace is, too disgraceful. I said to everybody when I left Fox, this was a hit job. It was an orchestrated hit job. We always knew there was big money in play on all different levels, not just with me, but with Trump and a lot of other people. And this is a fact now. They have the memos, they have the emails from Bloom, they have all of this. So they lay it out on thehill.com, and if your audience has not seen it, go there. You can read the report. But the really, really shocking and makes me furious is that the New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post, the Network News, CNN, all ignored the story, didn't cover the story. Yet every sleazy allegation that comes down, they cover. They can't wait to cover it, all right? They didn't want to cover Franken, and now they're backtracking, well, maybe he won't resign, that kind of stuff. But if it's a conservative or a Republican, they couldn't care less what's true. They just slap it up. But when this comes in and it's absolutely 100% true, they won't cover. That is corruption beyond redemption. Okay?
All right.
Remember what I said. Corruption beyond redemption. We do not have a free press anymore in this country. All right, so all I'm going to ask your audiences to do is to read the story, and then take it to the next level, which the next level will be shown, that this is now an industry of destruction. They found a way to destroy people. It involves money and politics, not in every case. There are women who have been hurt, and they deserve justice. But in many cases,
Okay.
Lisa Bloom and her cadre should be put in prison, in my opinion.
Bill, I only have a minute. Thank you for sharing time with us this year, and thank you for being on the program. And is it going to be a better year or a tougher year?
I don't know. I got to tell everybody that you were very generous to me,
No, I mean next year. Is it going to be a better year?
I don't know what's going to happen next year. I know that I just can't. But I want your listeners to know that you really are a fair man, and a man who doesn't want to hurt people and wants to do good on this earth, and that's the Christmas spirit.
Thank you.
I also want to tell them to go to BillO'Reilly.com and all that other business. But it's more important they like you than go to BillO'Reilly.com. Beck.
All right, Bill, God bless. Have a great holiday.
You too. Have a good time.
And see you in the new year.
In the new year. Bye.
Bye-bye.